If you want to attract your ideal clients as a thought leader, then you must build a personal expert brand. But how do you do that? And specifically, how do you do that through content creation? In this video, I'll share 3 principles, 3 examples, and 10 tips to help you create your expert personal brand to help you stand out online and attract your ideal clients. So what is an expert personal brand? An expert personal brand occurs when other people see you as an individual expert or thought leader. There are 3 levels here. The first is the brand level, which is your public image. The second is your personal brand, who you are. And the third part is the expertise, the value you provide. The big challenge for all content creators publishing online is to stand out from all the noise. Alas, most content creators fall for the big mistake of producing generic content. And then they wonder why they don't stand out from the millions of other pieces of content that's online. That's a big mistake because effectively you're wasting your time. Your content won't get noticed and you won't attract your ideal clients. If you want to stand out as a business expert quickly, easily, and consistently, then you must build a signature content style. To help you create your signature content brand style, here are 3 principles I think you need to consider. The first one is to play to your strengths. The golden rule for being successful in life and in business is to play to your strengths. There's some things that you do better than others. This starts with knowing what they are. This requires knowing yourself through self-reflection and also looking at the feedback you get from others. A good place to start is to design your personal brand. But this will only get you so far if you want an authentic and trusted brand. Ultimately, you have to create the content and let your brand emerge. So don't overplan this. You want to be authentic and not contrived. Instead, get your hands dirty and go out there and start creating and sharing content and grow your brand from the feedback you get. A few days ago, I was talking with my video buddy, Philippe, and he didn't know I was creating this video on signature content style. And he said the most magical thing that just had the perfect timing. He said, "I love your most recent videos. You're really developing a brand style here, and they're so you, Jeff." Music to my ears. This is your goal here, to have a personal brand that is so you. Now for 3 examples on how to use content to create an expert personal brand. And I'll share the big tips and the lessons from each one along the way so you can create your own signature style. My first example is the one I'm most famous for. I ran a book summary service called Bookwrapper. And my point of difference was that most book summary services simply give you less words than what's in the book. I wanted to take a different approach. I wanted each page to be a standalone snapshot of an idea. Therefore, the pages were designed horizontally, not vertically, and there was a headline across the top, a visual in the middle, and very limited, as minimal words as I could to put on that page. I created over 700 pages in this style at Bookwrapper and another 100 in my 2 books on Weekly Done. And 4 lessons stand out from this approach. First, you need to select the format of your content. And format can mean many things. It could be video versus audio. It could be lots of visuals or lots of words. It could be landscape or portrait. These are the design decisions you make along the way. For me, I chose to have a single idea on a page and I put it in landscape format because this was how people were going to read it on their digital devices. And that became the signature style of Bookwrapper. I'm an ex-architect, and it follows that visual diagrams are a natural legacy for my 10 years of training in design thinking, which asks the questions, what's the natural way for you to work? And this is a crucial part of the expert part of your personal brand. For example, are you really good with numbers and statistics? Do you love a really good graph? Do you naturally tell funny jokes? Or do you tell compelling stories? These are all tools for you to express yourself and your personal brand. Probably the most common feedback I get about the work that I do is that I get to the essence of an idea. This is one of my strengths. I can distill the key ideas from a lot of information. This reflects my love of concepts. And probably the opposite of a high concept approach is storytelling, where you're filling out a lot more of the details and you're taking people on a journey. So what's your message style? What's your preferred way to share your ideas? It follows naturally from my love of concepts and principles that I would want to use a minimum of words. I want my work to be minimal, simple, and precise. I want people to absorb my messages as fast as possible. In contrast, you might be more chatty, more flirty, and maybe more playful. Pick the level of precision in your messages. A great example of how to build a signature style over time is my series of videos that I've been posting here on YouTube. Given I had almost no experience in creating videos, I kind of had to start from scratch and find out what the elements that I could play with were. And if you watch the different videos over time, you can see this growing and changing. In my past 4 videos, there are a few things that are starting to emerge as a distinct personal brand. A lot of the experts on YouTube say if you're going to do headshot videos like this, then you need to make sure your background is really interesting so that people have got something to look at. I have a different point of view about this. I actually don't want people looking at the background. I want people to be engaged in my content. So therefore, I've minimized the background and I'm working as hard as I can to make these videos more engaging and more compelling and more interesting, so you'll just naturally be entertained. So this might work for you. You might be more flamboyant and you want the luxurious background, or like me, you might want to go for the minimal look. And given this minimal approach, I obviously have to work harder at improving the quality of how I present my message. And this comes down to my way of being in front of the camera. And this is the ultimate piece of your signature content style and your expert personal brand. It's who you are to work with. And that's the big advantage of video. If you can be natural and authentic in your video presentations, then that's the best signature style you can have, because people get that experience of, here's who Jeff is. It's not hidden behind some words or some pictures. It's all there for people to see. And the big question is, how can you make your personality shine? My preference for visual elements has also come through into my videos. This includes the usual B-roll video footage, the slides and images and photos and visual models that I use. But another unexpected set of visual elements has started to emerge. When I first started, I was putting little text notes in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. And lately, I've been putting big bold words right in the front. Different mediums require different expressions. How will you use visuals to show your audience the way forward? In my videos, a new style is also emerging through the blue filters I've started to use. This wasn't a random choice. It was chosen to highlight my skin tones and my eyes. And you probably noticed I wear a lot of blue shirts. What you look like is part of your personal brand. But I'd also argue that things like colour are less important than most aspects around your expert brand. The key part of any expert brand must be your expertise. And the best way to showcase your expertise is through adding value through your content creation. Here's a third example based on a written post that I published on LinkedIn. While visually everybody's written post looks the same because you just get a sea of words, there are 2 things that you can do to stand out. My writing style is mostly short, sharp sentences, and this comes fairly naturally from the book summaries I wrote for many years. But it wasn't always like this. When I graduated from university, I had a classic academic style that would put you to sleep at night. It was big words and long sentences. Over the years, and through lots of practice, I've been able to change this. Your personal brand style needs to be true for you, and you can grow it and change it and morph it over time. The content and topics you choose to write about also define your expert personal brand. I tend to be a deep thinker. That's just the way it is for me. That's what I'm interested in. In my writing, the feedback I get is that I often ask deep probing questions. But don't fall for the mistake that deep probing questions are better than popular, easier to answer questions. Sometimes we all just want to be entertained. What's your balance of insight versus entertainment? That's it. 3 principles, 3 examples, and 10 tips on how to create your personal expert brand through content creation. The number one takeaway here is that if you want to stand out online, then you cannot afford to create generic content. And to build a strong personal expert brand, you need to find the best expression of you. In our next video, we'll look at 7 ways that you can improve your content creation today. With the millions of people producing content every day, unless you're improving the quality of your content, you're going to be invisible and left behind. And together with your signature style, you'll create a much more powerful presence online. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.